Musical legends have left us, but is eternal rest truly the end? Or are these great souls still sharing the secretive corners of their lives yet to be unveiled? It is the gravesite that whispers music at midnight, where spiritual footsteps dance, or perhaps the final resting spot of a gold-plated trumpet, rumored to hold the departed artist's very last note. Prepare for the most chilling journey of discovery, where we are about to unveil 45 graves and 45 secrets sealed beneath the earth, belonging to the greatest black voices of all time. Sam Cooke, the man who ignited a flame of hope for an entire generation with "A Change Is Gonna Come," ended his journey with a shocking event: his tragic shooting death at a cheap Los Angeles motel. The singer's tomb is a simple, flat, dark granite slab at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Glendale, California. It serves as the ultimate declaration of the equality and truth he pursued through his music. On this stone, etched not just his name and dates, but an hauntingly romantic epitaph: "I love you until the daybreak and the shadows flee away." Visitors often leave humble flowers and handwritten notes, transforming the grave into an altar of unwavering faith. They recount that upon touching the flat stone surface, they feel a special surge of heat, a direct transmission from the soul legend's spirit. The tombstone is proof that Sam Cooke's inviolable spirit triumphed over all chaos and tragedy, reminding us that the message of hope will always be the most powerful voice. Johnny Ace died from accidentally shooting himself while playing with a gun, a heartbreaking tragedy on Christmas Eve. This sudden loss sent shockwaves through the R&B world. The acclaimed singer is interred at New Park Cemetery in Memphis, Tennessee. The tombstone is a classic upright granite slab, yet it holds a tragic contradiction. The monument's modesty stands in stark contrast to the scandalous, sensational event that ended his career. Every visit is marked by a heavy, oppressive silence, as if the quiet earth itself is actively suppressing the tragic echoes of that fateful Christmas night. Witnesses report that standing beside the slab, they feel a sudden, localized temperature drop and a strange psychological pressure. They hear no gunshots, yet sense a faint, intermittent metallic click echoing within their own minds. Johnny Ace's grave reminds us that even when talent is tragically cut short, his profound energy still demands attention, urging us to cherish every precious moment and breath life offers. Muddy Waters, the man who electrified the blues, died from heart failure caused by cancer. The legend rests at Restvale Cemetery in Alsip, Illinois. His grave is a tall, majestic slab of polished black granite reflecting the raw power of Chicago blues. It is engraved with an electric guitar and two philosophical lines: "The mojo is gone and the master has won." The blues community frequently leaves small offerings here, coins, cigarettes, and picks, as a personal ritual, paying the fee to the master. They believe placing these musical and personal items is a way to ensure his mojo does not fade and continues to protect those who pursue the blues. The continuous presence of these items proves that Muddy Waters' grave has become an undying legacy, a place where the blues community's mojo is preserved, transforming the tombstone into a living monument to the power of music. Cab Calloway, the explosive hi-de-ho icon of the swing era, passed away due to a stroke. The jazz legend's tombstone at Ferncliff Cemetery, Hartsdale, New York, is an elegant, minimal, flat slab, a complete contrast to the controlled chaos of his career. This grave is a physical symbol of absolute stillness and control, as if a concert hall has closed its doors permanently. Visiting fans have recounted that when standing near the grave, they feel an unusual, almost acoustically perfect stillness. Occasionally, they sense or hear a very faint, stretched, and distorted jazz echo. That is the part of the swing energy that remains unreleased. Could it be that the era's master of rhythm control found ultimate sound control deep within the earth? Little Willie John, a leading R&B voice, died tragically and controversially from a heart attack while imprisoned. The singer rests at Woodlawn Cemetery, Detroit, Michigan. The unpretentious simplicity of his tombstone sharply contrasts with his great fame and controversial end, a relatively plain, upright stone located near other Detroit artists. Little Willie John's death in prison was highly disputed. Rumors claim he was buried with a tape recording of his final song, which authorities allegedly banned for containing a horrific truth about his death. According to a famous psychic group in a May 14, 1992, local newspaper, when they stood near the grave and used old recording equipment, or tuned a radio to static, they felt an unusual electrical magnetic surge. This energy surge always featured a loud, sustained electrical hiss, not music. That hiss is interpreted as the blocked frequency of the final forbidden song. Louis Armstrong, the man who defined jazz and modern music, died from a heart attack following prolonged cardiovascular issues. He rests at Flushing Cemetery, New York, in a large family plot. His majestic, upright granite tombstone is engraved with his famous trumpet. A strange physical phenomenon has been noted by many visitors. The trumpet carving seems to be wearing away faster than the other details. This erosion is interpreted not as a fabrication flaw, but as a physical manifestation of ceaseless musical energy. The dominant theory suggests that Louis's spirit is still playing the instrument through the night. The immense power of jazz is capable of literally wearing down its own material symbol, proving that Satchmo's legacy is an eternal force. Duke Ellington, the Duke of Jazz, passed away due to lung cancer. The legendary musician rests at Woodlawn Cemetery, Bronx, New York, in a large, dignified family plot, typical 20th century architecture, often featuring a large granite or marble tombstone. The grave is not his alone. It is also the resting place of his son, Mercer Ellington, and other members, symbolizing the perpetual bloodline of his musical legacy. The site is a monument to jazz greatness and proof that creativity never ends. On late evenings or windy nights, many fans and visitors report hearing no music, but rather faint, isolated, gentle piano key slides echoing in the wind. These are not complete melodies, but small, intermittent clicking sounds, as if the composer is mentally searching for or experimenting with chords. The grave is thus seen as a ceaselessly working spiritual musical laboratory, where Ellington's creative energy is still seeking the perfect harmony. Lead Belly, who pioneered many timeless blues songs, died from stomach cancer. His tombstone is a simple, upright stone carved with his iconic 12-string guitar, located at Shiloh Cemetery in Mooringsport, Louisiana. The remote location of the grave reinforces the deep roots of the blues and the years he spent in Southern prisons. On September 22, 1994, historian Arthur Vance visited the site and reported a strange feeling. A deadly silence that defies understanding. Could it be that Leadbelly's spirit still carries the heavy lament of history and the horrific oppression he endured throughout his tumultuous life? Oh, Jimmy Reed, the great blues artist known for his distinctive improvised style and harmonica playing, died of respiratory failure. The legend rests at Lincoln Cemetery, Blue Island, Illinois, beneath a standard, unpretentious upright tombstone. Jimmy Reed's grave stands out as a pilgrimage site for the blues community. After returning from the cemetery, some visitors have reported an unusual, recurring nocturnal phenomenon. They are often jolted awake by a sudden, jarring wail, the signature sound of a harmonica being played haltingly and abruptly cut short. They believe Jimmy Reed's improvisational spirit is still blowing one last blues riff into their minds, continuing to inspire the unfinished melodies. Fats Domino, the rock and roll legend, lived a full life and died of old age. His tombstone features the distinctive architectural style of rural Louisiana. The grave is famously linked to the tragedy of Hurricane Katrina, where he nearly drowned and became an icon of resilience. Cemetery caretakers report a faint, small indentation on the stone that is not carved, but looks like a handprint pressed hard into the granite. This indentation is interpreted as the fossilized handprint, the physical mark he left while desperately clinging to life during the historic flood. Fats Domino's grave radiates an energy of tenacity, reminding us that the spirit of Fats Domino in New Orleans is unyielding against any storm. Billie Holiday, or Lady Day, died of cirrhosis due to substance and alcohol abuse. Her grave is a dark granite slab at St. Raymond's Cemetery, New York. Remarkably, a razor-thin, knife-like crack runs across the name of the Queen of Jazz, symbolizing a broken life. A former caretaker reported that on windy days the crack seems to widen and a cold draft escapes. In the early mornings, white gardenia petals, Billie's iconic flower, are often found scattered on the tombstone. Eerily, these petals always bear a small, round indentation in the center. This is interpreted as a sign of her persistent tragic energy, lamenting an unfulfilled life. The grave reminds us that even in pain, her fragile beauty and musical legacy are imperishable. Jackie Wilson, known for his superhuman stage energy, collapsed on stage from a heart attack and remained in a coma for 9 years before his death. The legend is buried at West Lawn Cemetery, Wayne, Michigan. According to unofficial records from a devoted fan community, when they place fresh flowers, especially red roses, on the tombstone, the petals do not naturally decay, but dry up and shrivel abruptly after exactly 9 days. This supernatural phenomenon is inferred as an haunting temporal resonance, a painful echo corresponding to the 9 tragic years that imprisoned his soul. However, this temporal resonance is also seen as solace. The precise conclusion of the tragic cycle has become a symbol of ultimate release, where his great soul voice is free forever. Bessie Smith, the Empress of the Blues, died from injuries in a severe car accident. She found her final resting place at Mount Lawn Cemetery, Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania, a fact largely suppressed by the press. The legendary singer was interred without a tombstone for 30 years, a historic injustice. When the monument was finally erected, it featured a strange, simple 2-step structure. These 2 steps symbolize Smith's life, the bottom step representing blues hardship and humility, and the top step representing the glory she only received after death. Fans report that upon stepping onto the top level, they feel a cold draft and hear a faint echo of old blues music in the wind. Could this be the liberated voice of the legendary soul, finally free after decades of neglect? The grave is proof that though recognition came late, her authentic blues singing transcends historical silence, affirming that greatness is immortal. Dinah Washington, the Queen of the Blues, died tragically from a fatal combination of drugs and alcohol, marking a dramatic end to a brilliant and tumultuous life. The legend rests at Woodlawn Cemetery, Bronx, New York. Her grave is notable for a strange botanical truth. 2 distinct types of vegetation grow clearly separated on the same plot: lush flowers and withered weeds. This is rumored to symbolize her dual nature, the dazzling queen on stage versus the desperate woman backstage. Visitors report feeling a clear emotional divide when standing there, one side reflecting the joy of jazz and the other the sorrow of soul. The grave is proof that the legendary voice's tragedy stemmed from the tense fusion of 2 opposites, and that Dinah's complexity of soul is everlasting. Sarah Vaughan, one of the greatest jazz vocalists, passed away from lung cancer. The jazz legend's grave is located at Rose Hill Cemetery, Linden, New Jersey. Her tombstone lists her name and years of life. Beside it sits a small blank stone block, completely unmarked, despite her having married multiple times. This empty block is interpreted as a tribute to her voice, considering it Sarah Vaughan's only true lifelong partner. If you place your hand on that blank stone, you will feel a subtle vibration and perceive the absolute perfection of the jazz vocal. Sarah Vaughan's grave is a declaration that dedication to art is honored forever, transcending all personal relationships, and her legacy will always be here to comfort us. Ray Charles, the blind music legend, died from liver disease complications. The legend rests at Inglewood Park Cemetery, California. His grave is a large, stately upright stone. Rumors persist that he was buried with his dark sunglasses, carrying a secret coded message about an undiscovered fortune or a band recording. When I closed my eyes and stood silent, my hearing was pulled to another frequency. What's more incredible, the ambient sounds weren't just louder, they were clearly and chillingly separated into distinct layers. I could hear insects crawling, the grass gasping. It felt like the genius was transmitting sonic sight to me, sharpening my mundane ears into perfect soul-listening instruments. It truly was seeing with sound. One fan described a shocking visiting experience, making the grave a powerful repository of the genius's auditory legacy. This psychic phenomenon is strong proof that even in eternity, Ray Charles remains the master of sound. Clifford Brown, the jazz trumpet genius, was tragically killed in a car accident at the peak of his career. The composer's tombstone is located at Mount Lawn Cemetery, Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. It is a stately, upright monument crafted from warm reddish-brown granite. The artistic focus is a subtle carved band featuring musical notes and a stylized image of the trumpet associated with his career. His sudden death made him a symbol of potential snatched away, leading to the legend of the silent trumpet buried with him. Elders in the community still pass down the tale that on quiet evenings, precisely on the anniversary of his death, a blinding beam of light erupts from the trumpet's energy beneath the earth, tearing through the night sky. This light is interpreted as the physical transformation of his talent into pure energy, affirming that his perfection has ascended, becoming an eternal light guiding future generations of musicians. Nat King Cole, the timeless warm vocalist, passed away from lung cancer. The legend's grave lies at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Glendale, California. The spot is famous for a strange and touching detail: a small, solitary marble bench placed directly facing his tomb, an object completely absent from any surrounding graves. Fans quickly gave this bench an intimate name, the listening seat. Visitors report that upon sitting in this seat, they always feel the presence of a faint warmth, as if someone had just risen. This is interpreted as a sign that his music lovers from another realm still frequent the spot, quietly enjoying the great vocalist's timeless love songs. The grave offers solace to the legend's admirers. Nat King Cole is never alone, and his legacy is the undying warmth that continues to soothe every lonely heart. Etta James, the powerful R&B and blues vocalist, died from leukemia and other health issues. The celebrated singer is interred at Inglewood Park Cemetery, California. A mysterious psychic phenomenon has been repeatedly recorded there. Etta James's grave area seems to absorb the light at night. Caretakers report that the lights around her section frequently malfunction or flicker inexplicably, despite regular maintenance. This phenomenon is rumored to mean that Etta's soul still prefers privacy and darkness to express her deepest blues emotions without the disturbance of the spotlight. This poorly lit area is the sanctuary of silence, where Etta's soul protects the authenticity of her blues from grandstanding. The grave is a reminder that the greatest art is sometimes found in the shadows, where Etta James continues to sing the truth of life with a hidden and eternal soul power. Otis Redding, the soul legend, died in a tragic plane crash. The artist rests on a private farm in Round Oak, Georgia, a peaceful private location marked not by a grand monument, but by a simple stone. Close friends of the singer once shared with the press that on early misty mornings, if they place a hand on the stone, they often feel a continuous low vibration, like a final bass note struggling to escape the earth. Even stranger, simultaneously with the vibration, the dewdrops on the stone taste salty, like tears and emotional resonance. Visiting fans interpret this as the vibration of the singing soul heart or the promise of one more classic soul song that Otis never finished. Little Richard, the architect of rock and roll, passed away from bone cancer. But even in the stillness of death, his fiery personality still burns and demands absolute attention. His tombstone, located at Huntsville Memorial Gardens, Alabama, is a massive, somewhat rugged structure that stands out sharply from the surrounding graves, directly reflecting Richard's music, powerful, uncompromising, and explosive beyond all norms. The most unique detail is the slab's placement. It is angled, slightly turning its back on the main path, inviting a mysterious exploration. Richard wanted to force fans to seek out and admire his complete, unmistakable, flamboyant eccentricity. The grave is a declaration. Death is, in fact, the legend's final performance, reminding us that his soul, which always craved the spotlight, still demands absolute adoration, and his flamboyance is timeless, refusing to be dulled by time. Ella Fitzgerald, famously known as the First Lady of Song, finally found peace at Inglewood Memorial Park, California, after passing away due to complications from diabetes. Her grave is the quietest spot, yet it hides a strange physical secret that constantly astonishes visiting fans: the signs of the empty seat and a peculiar warmth. The grass directly in front of her tomb is frequently and noticeably flattened, as if someone had just sat down to rest. This occurs even when the cemetery is deserted or has just been manicured. Rumors suggest that her soul frequently rests there, not to sing her famous notes, but to listen to the sounds and rhythms of the moving world outside. Visitors who place their hands on the flattened grass swear they feel a faint warmth and an overwhelming sense of peace, as if Ella is silently transmitting tranquility and comfort from the afterlife, a final solace for hearts still heavy with sorrow. Mahalia Jackson, the Queen of Gospel, whose voice touched the soul, passed away from acute heart failure and diabetes complications and rests at Providence Memorial Park, Metairie, Louisiana. Her grave has become a sacred pilgrimage site due to a meaningful physical phenomenon. The footprints of white doves, symbols of the Holy Spirit, frequently appear on the tomb's surface. Incredibly, these imprints remain visible even after the grave has been thoroughly cleaned. It is rumored that on days of difficulty or loneliness, the white doves visit. The hidden truth is that these footprints are not random. Psychics interpret them as signs of blessing and protection that Mahalia is still sending from the afterlife. This psychophysical phenomenon forms a silent scripture, a visual reminder that Mahalia Jackson's religious faith and great soul are eternal, offering solace and hope to all who visit. T-Bone Walker, one of the greatest pioneers of electric blues and the first artist to perform a guitar solo on stage, passed away from pneumonia after a long battle following a stroke. The Blues King's grave is located at Inglewood Memorial Park, California. The enduring rumor is that he was buried with his sleek, polished leather shoes that helped him execute the inspiring, nimble dance steps on stage, creating his unique performance style. Late at night, his burial site becomes a strange discovery point. Mysterious footprints appear and vanish on the surrounding grass, even when there is absolutely no rain or fog. This phenomenon is interpreted by fans and cemetery staff as though his spirit is still performing his signature dance steps, even after leaving the mortal world. That grave has become an eternal stage where T-Bone Walker's steps and blues styles still resonate, inviting admirers to pause and pay tribute. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the godmother of rock and roll who powerfully shaped modern music by merging soul and gospel, passed away after a stroke. The celebrated singer is buried at Northwood Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A story circulates among fans that Rosetta Tharpe was laid to rest with her legendary Gibson electric guitar, the faithful partner that helped her conquer major stages throughout her singing career. According to former cemetery caretakers, on the quietest nights, fiery guitar sounds emanate from the grave, intense music echoing as if a rock gospel service is erupting beneath the earth. If someone dares to touch the tombstone, they can feel a slight electrical energy, interpreted as proof of the eternal life of pioneering gospel rock. B.B. King, the legendary king of the blues, succumbed to a stroke and complications from diabetes. The late singer is interred at the B.B. King Museum in Indianola, Mississippi. According to word of mouth among visitors, a secret Lucille guitar is rumored to have been buried with him as the absolute signature symbol and soul of the Blues King's career. On nights of the full moon, when the light bathes the cemetery, it is rumored that a mournful, profound guitar sound echoes from the grave like the lonely voice of B.B. King calling back from the afterlife. The grave stands as an affirmation of B.B. King's immortal life and that his blues soul has never left, but silently keeps a sacred promise for the fans who visit. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, departed due to pancreatic cancer, leaving an irreplaceable void in global music. The late singer's final resting place is Woodlawn Cemetery, Detroit, Michigan. According to private accounts from close associates involved in her burial, a golden glove intricately embroidered with the word respect was placed alongside her. They firmly believe this glove is a powerful good luck charm, a remaining symbol of the Queen's authority, capable of spiritually paving the way for success in your job or career. The singer's grave has become an eternal source of spiritual strength for the soul music community. Legend holds that if you pray wholeheartedly here, Aretha's soul power will instill in you the self-respect and courage to demand your own respect. Joe Tex, the deeply emotional and authentic soul vocalist, suddenly passed away from a heart attack, leaving fans in sorrow. The legend rests at Poplar Springs Church Cemetery, Sardis, Georgia. According to loyal and close fans, Joe Tex was buried with a dark handkerchief, a companion item on the moving soul stages he conquered. This relic holds a strange physical property. The handkerchief never dries, as if it is eternally soaked with the tears of the departed soul. Many witnesses affirm that if a fan dares to touch the grave, they feel an intense surge of inspiration and emotion. A sacred discovery experience shared by frequent visitors is their belief that they are transmitted the ability to write the most profound and moving soul lyrics, as if the Great Spirit is whispering songwriting secrets into their minds. The grave is therefore not just a resting place, but a spiritual museum, preserving the continuous flow of soul inspiration and passion for future generations of musicians. Ma Rainey, the woman honored as the Mother of the Blues, a figure who shaped early 20th century music, left the stage after a heart attack. She rests at Porterdale Cemetery, Columbus, Georgia. A secret whispered within the music community is that the celebrated singer was buried with a jade necklace made of clay beads. This necklace was known to be a sacred relic from her childhood, a reminder of her poor origins and her first connection with the blues melody, until it became an indispensable part of her life. Loyal fans often visit, simply taking a handful of soil from the grave and holding it tightly to feel a direct connection to these clay beads, believing they will transmit the resilience and iron will of Ma Rainey, who transformed the pain of the blues into a career. The grave becomes a pilgrimage site offering solace, affirming that humble beginnings are not an endpoint, but the eternal foundation for the immortal soul of the blues. Thelonious Monk, one of the greatest jazz pianists, famous for his unique style and groundbreaking chords, passed away after a long battle with illness. The star rests at Ferncliff Memorial Park, Hartsdale, New York. In the silence of this place, the story is still told that the musical genius was buried with a broken piano stool. This stool was not a mere prop, but the highest symbol of his career, as Monk believed that the very inconvenience and imbalance of the stool were the secret source of his unique wayward chords. Today, fans still frequently visit the late artist's grave. They come here, contemplate in silence, and imagine how the artist fought and transcended that imperfection. The grave is an affirmation that the artist's difference and abnormality are the foundation for eternal creativity. John Lee Hooker, the legendary guitarist and singer dubbed the King of the Boogie for his electric Delta blues style, passed away in 2001. He rests at Chapel of the Chimes Memorial Park in Hayward, California. His grave is a tall, imposing black granite headstone, a striking contrast between the stillness of death and his fiery career. Fans and fellow blues artists frequently visit, leaving rhythm items like coins, metal rings, or even an old shoe on the ledge, with the belief that at late night, if you listen closely to the slab, you won't hear a melody, but a compressed, drawn-out thump from the earth. This sound is considered Hooker's eternal footstomp, a relentless rhythm being held back. It is physical proof that rhythm is the soul, and he, the boogie master, continues to control the blues universe's cadence, imparting its resilience and power to subsequent generations. Tammy Terrell, the gifted Motown vocalist, tragically died from a brain tumor while at the peak of her golden duet career with Marvin Gaye. The singer's resting place is Aqueduct Memorial Park, Rosedale, New York. According to a haunting revelation in a personal memoir discovered at the legend's home after her passing, a private, unsent letter intended for Marvin Gaye, her duet partner and spiritual confidant, was buried with her. Tammy Terrell's tombstone and the letter eternally sealed beneath the earth are the agonizing symbol of an abandoned collaboration and a nameless love that transcended music, belonging to one of the greatest soul duos in history. Bo Diddley, the pioneering artist hailed as the originator of rock and roll, passed away from heart failure at the age of 79. The legend rests at Rosemary Hill Cemetery in Bronson, Florida. His grave is a tall, imposing upright headstone situated beneath a large oak tree draped in Spanish moss, creating a quiet, distinctly Floridian atmosphere. The most striking feature is the carving of his famous square-shaped custom guitar, positioned diagonally across the top of the headstone. The site is famously known for circulating stories about a persistent frequency phenomenon. Many visitors have recounted that when they place their palm on the stone slab at dusk, they feel a subtle, almost imperceptible vibration, which precisely repeats the Bo Diddley beat. This vibration is inferred as the compressed frequency of creation, physical proof that the rhythm never dies. Al Hibbler, the blind artist with the unique voice that could transmute both sorrow and joy, passed away from a heart attack. The legend's resting place is at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Ocala, Florida. Al Hibbler's grave is a profound lesson in humility and the burden of belief. The simple tombstone, inscribed only with the large surname Hibbler and family members' names, bears no artistic title or commendation, creating a meaningful silence. This humility reflects his struggle to learn how to see the world through sound. According to close associates, the celebrated singer was buried with an old recording device, a relic he always carried to capture the sounds and movements around him. Fans come here placing their hands on the cold tombstone not just to remember the voice, but to perform a spiritual ritual. They try to listen to see if the recorder is running. They believe the device was placed there to capture the ultimate truth, the echo of truth the artist yearned for throughout his life. Big Maybelle, the great R&B/blues artist whose powerful internal voice shook every stage, passed away from a diabetic coma. The legendary vocalist rests at Southern Memorial Park, North Miami, Florida. Maybelle's grave is an unexpected silence after a fiery life. While her voice stirred an entire era, her resting place is in near secluded peace, inviting us to explore that deep contrast. Fans visit to feel the greatness hidden in simplicity, remembering the woman who used her voice as a symbol of power and personal confidence. The humble grave is more than where the Queen of Soul and R&B rests. It is a grand affirmation of a legacy that continues to inspire generations. Paul Robeson, the giant of both voice and spirit, a singer, actor, and civil rights activist closely monitored by the government, passed away from a stroke. He rests at Ferncliff Cemetery, Hartsdale, New York, a place of majestic stillness. Robeson's grave is a simple, dignified slab marking the name of a man who used his voice as a weapon against injustice and racism. Right in the center, dominating the space, is a profound quote, deeply engraved in a bold, solemn font, almost an eternal proclamation. The artist must elect to fight for freedom or slavery. I have made my choice. I had no alternative. It is the final manifesto of a soul that never accepted compromise. For fans, the grave is a monument to the unwavering choice of a man who used his entire life and talent to fight for freedom and equality. Percy Sledge, the legendary soul artist with a warm, poignant voice, passed away from liver cancer. The legend rests at Garden Hills Memorial Park Cemetery, Hope Hall, Alabama. Percy Sledge's grave is an honest and moving testament to the power of love. Unlike silent tombstones, his grave is a rectangular bronze plaque placed prominently on a granite base. His name, Percy S.R., and his wife's, Rosa L., are positioned parallel, separated by a small medallion engraved with the words, "Together Forever." The bronze plaque does not just mark a star, it honors a marriage. It is a moment of private communion between the artist and his fans, affirming that even though he sang the greatest love song, he was simply a man who found sanctuary in true love. People come here to contemplate the sincerity of love and feel the warmth of the soul voice he left behind, a promise that true love is eternal. The dark bronze plaque lies peacefully under the grass, a sturdy symbol with embossed floral borders encompassing the names of two people who brought so much light to the world. John W. Coltrane and his beloved wife, Alice L. Coltrane. This is not just a burial site, but an eternal symbol of connection between two great souls. Alice, the talented pianist and harpist, was not only John's wife, but also his musical companion. After John's passing, she carried his legacy and continued to bring their inspired jazz spirit around the world. Cemetery caretakers often recount that the circular indentation above John W. Coltrane's name is not a random design detail. It is the place where fans and jazz musicians secretly place small items related to the musical legend, especially cigarette filters or mouthpieces. They believe this act is a ritual honoring the spirit of jazz and the refinement of sound that Coltrane dedicated himself to. This grave does not speak of the pain of separation, but is a sweet whisper that true love never dies. They created music that stirred our souls together, and now they lie side by side in eternal peace. The grave of jazz saxophonist Gene Ammons is a flat, rectangular slab of reddish-brown granite laid horizontally on the ground and surrounded by green grass, showing the wear of time. Inscribed clearly is his name, Gene "Jug" Ammons, along with his years, 1925 to 1974. Distinctively beneath the name and dates is the meaningful line, his music, a sermon. The Legend's tomb is located at Lincoln Cemetery, Blue Island, Illinois. Here, a mysterious story circulates about his signature pipe. It is rumored that Gene Ammons was buried with a valuable collection of pipes, but they have somehow become scattered around his grave area. The tale goes that if one is lucky enough to find a small piece of a pipe nearby, that piece will lead the finder to a lost jazz tune that Ammons secretly recorded. Alberta Hunter, the great blues and jazz icon whose life saw constant ups and downs, bid farewell at the age of 89. The celebrated singer's grave at Ferncliff Cemetery, Hartsdale, New York, is a humble yet proud slab. The dark, rectangular granite tombstone rests modestly amidst the green lawn, inscribed only with the name Alberta Hunter and the long span of an experienced life, 1895-1984. This resting place is in a quiet area of the cemetery, a stark contrast to the blinding spotlights and the vibrant voice she brought to the world. This silent slab encompasses 2 brilliant lives, honoring the woman who bravely gave up the pinnacle of fame to dedicate 20 years to working as a nurse, an act of love and service, before returning to singing at age 82. Fans visit to contemplate the steadfastness of a woman who proved that passion is never limited, and true courage lies in embracing all her roles completely. Sonny Boy Williamson II, Rice Miller, the blues legend with a unique harmonica style, passed away in his sleep from heart failure. The late singer's tombstone is located at Sunnyside Cemetery, Tutwiler, Mississippi, right in the heart of the Holy Land of the Blues, the Delta. It is an elaborately designed stone prominent with a sharp carved portrait of him at the top, recreating the witty gaze and distinctive style of the immortal vocalist. The stone clearly carves his real name, Alec Miller, along with the historic nickname Willie "Sonny Boy" Williamson. The final line is a proud summary of his legacy. Internationally famous harmonica and vocal blues artist discovered and recorded by Trumpet Records, Jackson Miss, from 1950 to 1955. The grave has become a sacred sanctuary for blues artists and fans, especially harmonica players. They frequently visit not just to read the truth carved in stone, but also to place their own harmonicas on the ledge as a vow and a silent dedication. Each small harmonica, new or old, is a note of tribute, symbolizing the generations of artists he inspired. Wynonie Harris, one of the pioneering patriarchs of rock and roll and R&B, nicknamed Mr. Blues for his vibrant stage presence, passed away from esophageal cancer. He rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Erlanger, Kentucky. Wynonie Harris's grave is a humble slab that holds an entire brilliant musical era. The simple granite stone, resting quietly amidst the green grass, stands in complete contrast to his loud, liberal life on stage. Fans visit not just to place flowers, but to contemplate the sincerity of his music, the music that helped them through difficult times. The simplicity and sacredness of the grave is a reminder that while life may end in silence, the fiery spirit and romance in every note Wynonie Harris left behind remains eternal. Big Joe Turner, the boss of the blues, with a powerful, commanding voice and bold performance style, died from a heart attack. The legend rests at Inglewood Park Cemetery, Inglewood, California. Turner's grave is a black granite slab resting humbly on the ground, yet it contains a great legacy of music and love. The tombstone honors not only him, but is also the shared resting place of loved ones. Patricia Turner, noted as partner in life with Katie Bryant, Joe's sister. The arrangement of the names affirms that though he was a major star, love and family were his strongest foundations. The blues legend's grave is a lasting source of inspiration for the sincerity of marital love and community unity, a testament that an artist's legacy exists not only in music, but in kindness. Son House, the Delta blues legend, departed at the age of 86. The celebrated singer rests at Washington Park Memorial Cemetery, Washington Park, Michigan. Son House's grave, a solemn, wide and low black granite slab, is simply engraved with the title, "The Father of the Blues," affirming his immortal historical stature. What makes this a profound pilgrimage site is the haunting quote carved at the base of the stone taken from his classic song, "Go away, blues, go away and leave poor me alone." This phrase is not just a lyric, but the soul of the loneliness and lament that he tried to shake off his entire life. Blues artists and fans still frequently visit, bringing deep respect to contemplate the lonely years and the intensity of his music. Lightnin Hopkins, one of the greatest Texas blues artists with a unique guitar-playing style, passed away from lung cancer. The artist is interred at Forest Park Memorial Park Cemetery, Houston, Texas. Lightnin Hopkins's grave is a black granite slab, horizontal and low. The left side of the slab features a carved guitar, a silent symbol of his journey on the dusty Texas roads. Below the tombstone is the inscription, "Here lies Lightnin, who stood famous and tall, he didn't hesitate to give his all," as an eternal anthem encapsulating the generous spirit of the celebrated singer. Those lines are the voice rising from the authentic and liberal spirit of his life and music. Fans still frequently visit, leaving small items like coins, capos, or bottles of liquor, which are characteristically tied to the image of an artist always close to everyday life. Lightnin Hopkins's tombstone is a spiritual anchor for the love of a simple life and the courage to pursue passion, forever lighting the way for subsequent music generations. This destination brings our memorial journey today to a close. If you feel moved and found a deep connection with these emotional landmarks, please leave a comment and share your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos, where we will continue to revive the musical stories and eternal flow of inspiration told by the great black legends.